Okay, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. No, I am not talking about overturning racial conflict and how racist Mississippi is that they picked a senator. I am not discussing this morning right now how they just didn't have enough suburbs of white Republican suburban women in Mississippi to overcome the racism still there yet, and how they say we still have work in Mississippi to get rid of that. No, I'm not talking about any of that. This is BKP's attempt at understanding foreign policy. Because here's what I do. I don't know about you, okay? I keep up with a little bit of everything, so when it comes back, I've kind of got to a little bit, and I don't let the media tell me, and I start saying, I watch for words. Why the annexation of Crimea? That one just smokes my ears, the annexation, okay? And some of these liberal lefties that live in these little towns up in the mountains think that annexation, okay, of Crimea, oh, well, that should be okay. Let's get a coffee. Would you like room for cream and sugar? Put some whipped topping on there. Give me a latte. I hear they're going to annex that route highway out there next week. Yes, and run sewer, like they did in Crimea. Sorry, can't help it. Can't help it. Had to do it. Now, this is my attempt at foreign policy, and the reason I'm working on Ukraine this morning is because I get up to here with these damn things that are left on President Trump's desk, and then the media saying, let's see if you can get across this hurdle. We're going to put another hurdle in there, and we're going to see if you can get across this. And I'm going to tell you what, I wish the President of the United States would watch this. He's probably watching my stuff. I can tell in the afternoons when he releases tweets that usually it's things that I've said earlier in the day. But I'm serious as can be. Ukraine, let's go with our President Clinton. Now stay with this one for a minute. You'll like this one.
Thank you. Do you think that was appropriate? Thank you.
I said, the United States has built a very strong relationship with Ukraine, and last year we had a very good year as Ukraine became a non-nuclear state and made dramatic economic reforms. This nation is large, strong, committed to independence, committed to having cordial relations with all of its neighbors and with others who share its values. And I believe its strategic importance is very, very great. And so I put a very high priority on the relationships between the United States and Ukraine, and this will be a part of the deepening of our relationships.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
And if with 10 pieces, maybe more than
Well, I'll check back in. So you think they're going to be coming over?
Yeah, definitely.
You are really weird.
The Ukrainian vodka with a picture of Bill. Bill said we have a strong relationship. That's where it started in 1994. Right, Bill, you know, we have, Bill has built a strong relationship, just like he was over there with North Korea. He built a strong relationship in 1994. They had the vodka going. I told you that. I don't make stuff up. They got Boris Yeltsin. He's drunk as can be. Get Boris drunk, he'll put his name on anything over there. And then they got the president of Crimea or the leader or whoever he is, whatever they call him. And then they got John Majors, this goofy guy from England, a real lefty over there from the UK, and Bill Clinton. And then they got the vodka. I told you the vodka earlier, right? But we got a strong relationship, strong. Strategic. Why? It's a strategic move to get rid of those two things. Now, here's Obama. Now, we may not go with all 4 minutes, Josh. This is 4 minutes, but stay with me because you're not getting any of this on the networks. You're not getting any of this. All you're doing is seeing the setup, the media setup. What will Trump do? Will he sit down with Vladimir again? What will he tell Putin? Will he tell Putin to get out of Ukraine? Will he tell Putin to quit playing bumper cars with Ukrainian tugboats? How will he handle this? No, you never hear this. It's just like the tear gas. Obama was tear gassing them little kids left and right down there on the border. Nothing. You didn't hear anything. Okay? Obama was putting kids in cages. You didn't hear anything. Obama was separating kids from their children. Nothing. Ukraine. They're setting up this hurdle that they know was created under Clinton and Obama. So let's go. And George W. Bush, whoa. Let me say now, George W. Bush did not help things. But let's go with, this is Crimea. You're hearing all of this today. It's coming on today. This guy, the president, did interviews everywhere. So let's go to the video of Obama in 2014.
Good afternoon, everybody. Before Jay takes some of your questions, I want to provide a brief update on our efforts to address the ongoing crisis in Ukraine. Since the Russian intervention, we've been mobilizing the international community to condemn this violation of international law and to support the people and government of Ukraine. This morning, I signed an executive order that authorizes sanctions on individuals and entities responsible for violating the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine or for stealing the assets of the Ukrainian people. According to my guidance, the State Department has also put in place restrictions on the travel of certain individuals and officials. These decisions continue our efforts to impose a cost on Russia and those responsible for the situation in Crimea. And they also give us the flexibility to adjust our response going forward based on Russia's actions. We took these steps in close coordination with our European allies. I've spoken to several of our closest friends around the world, and I'm pleased that our international unity is on display at this important moment. Already we've moved together to announce substantial assistance for the government in Kiev, and today in Brussels, our allies took similar steps to impose costs on Russia. I am confident that we are moving forward together, united in our determination to oppose actions that violate international law and to support the government and people of Ukraine. And that includes standing up for the principle of state sovereignty. The proposed referendum on the future of Crimea would violate the Ukrainian Constitution and violate international law. Any discussion about the future of Ukraine must include the legitimate government of Ukraine. In 2014, we are well beyond the days when borders can be redrawn over the heads of democratic leaders. While we take these steps, I want to be clear that there is also a way to resolve this crisis that respects the interests of the Russian Federation, as well as the Ukrainian people. Let international monitors into all of Ukraine, including Crimea, to ensure the rights of all Ukrainians are being respected, including ethnic Russians. Begin consultations between the government of Russia and Ukraine with the participation of the international community. Russia would maintain its basing rights in Crimea, provided that it abides by its agreements and respects Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. And the world should support the people of Ukraine as they move to elections in May. That's the path of de-escalation. And Secretary Kerry is engaged in discussions with all of the relevant parties, including Russia and Ukraine, to pursue that path. But if this violation of international law continues, the resolve of the United States and our allies and the international community will remain firm. Meanwhile, we've taken steps to reaffirm our commitment to the security and democracy of our allies in Eastern Europe and to support the people of Ukraine. One last point. There's been a lot of talk in Congress about these issues. Today, once again, I'm calling on Congress to follow up on these words with action, specifically to support the IMF's capacity to lend resources to Ukraine and to provide American assistance for the Ukrainian government so that they can weather this storm and stabilize their economy, make needed reforms, deliver for their people, all of which will provide a smoother pathway for the elections that have already been scheduled in May. Today, the world can see that the United States is united with our allies and partners in upholding international law and pursuing a just outcome that advances global security and the future that the Ukrainian people deserve. That's what we're going to continue to do in the days to come until we have seen a resolution to this crisis. Thanks very much, and Jay and Ben and others will be happy to take your questions.
White House official statement. Now we find out in 2014, one of our big problems was John Kerry was on the job. Why John Kerry, Secretary of State, was working this out. And the one thing, at least the end all we came out of, that the world was able to have a sigh of relief, and Joe and Minka and all the MSNBC whack staff over there, and CNN's crazy-ass people at ABC, and George Stephanopoulos and anybody on CBS, all of those people were able to come away with, you know what? Our international relationship, the unification, is on display. The unification of our international relationships is on display. Why? We took a picture. We all got together, shook hands, took a picture. It's on display. That's what we need. It's on display. I'm your host, BKP, and this is BKP's attempt to understand foreign policy and why the president is once again being set up. Normally, there's so many things going on in the world. I'm not saying this is not a big deal, but see, this is Russia and this is Putin, and Trump's got to meet Putin, and what will he say? Well, it's almost like they don't care about the kids on the border as much. Now, they will tomorrow or a week from now. They'll get back to that. They have Khashoggi Day. It's Khashoggi Wednesday. They come in and say, is it Khashoggi Wednesday? Yes. Who killed the Khashoggi? Well, Trump won't listen to the tape. But if Brennan had his security clearance, he would. I'm your host, BKP. Let's take a break. I'm having too much fun today with this attempt at foreign policy or understanding it. Take a break.